The Jesus Revolution and your own encounter with Jesus was part of the spiritual awakening, a revival. Are there signs, Greg, of that sort of thing happening today?
Yeah, great question. I once was having lunch with Pastor Chuck, and I asked him, Chuck, do you think we'll ever see another Jesus movement? And his response was, I don't know if we're desperate enough.
Yeah.
But that was a number of years ago. And as I look at what's going on in not only our country, but your country
Sure.
and around the world, I think we're getting desperate. I think we're seeing how dark and evil things really are, and how that which is wrong is celebrated as right, and that which is right is described as wrong. It's just as scripture says, woe to those that call bitter sweet and sweet bitter. That's what we have happening today. But I see interesting things happening in this young generation, Generation Z. And you see that I read recently they have a really strong interest in Jesus. Well, that's our message, J.John.
Yes.
You know, even in this movie where it's shown in theaters, we've heard stories of people coming to Christ. In one instance, the theater, the projector stopped working in the middle of a theater. A young woman stood up, turned to the crowd and said, does anyone here need prayer? Someone says, I do. Another says, I do. They're praying for them. And then she said, have you heard the gospel? And she starts proclaiming the gospel, and a couple of people accepted the Lord in a movie theater.
Incredible.
In another instance, we heard about kids watching this movie and baptizing people in the fountain outside of the movie theater. So the answer to your question is, I see promising signs.